Okay, it's been a long time since I started putting this quarter panel on. I said I'd do a video to update it. And anyway, got everything cut off, and it's been on here for a little while. Some of it's spot welded. Had some heavy rain over the last month or so, and got a lot of humidity in here. When it warmed up, got to 70 degrees or so. So I've got some flash rust in places where my welds are at, but when you cut your old quarter panel off here, this tail light panel goes up underneath there, and then it's got a piece that comes up straight up there at a 90-degree angle that follows that contour there. I accidentally cut mine off when I cut off the old quarter panel, so I had to build it, and that's why I've got all these welds in here. It's a pain to grind down your welds in the corner like that. Anyway, so that's a word of advice. When you cut it apart, I would cut the old quarter panel out here first, then look at it, make your judgment of how you're going to cut things apart. And the same down here, you don't want to cut off that and end up cutting off part of your tail light panel, because your quarter panel overlaps on that. So this piece comes all the way into there. It goes underneath, the quarter panel's on there. This little part here, like I said, I've got a lot of rust I gotta clean out. But anyway, this is like 3 layers of metal. There's this layer, then there's like this quarter panel, and there's another piece underneath there. At least that's the way it was on my car. So again, when you cut it apart, you gotta be really careful. Let me see. When I put this on, the way I did it, it's kind of tough by myself. Oh, before I tell you that, I'll go up here and show you something else. The factory quarter panel goes underneath the roof, but this roof is all welded down here, and I didn't want to cut it loose and distort my roof and get it all watered up and warped. Since there's so much lead in here from the factory, I just decided to lay mine over the top and weld it. And again, I've got to grind all these welds down. I laid it over the top. It's going to have body filler there. And I'm going to put fiberglass reinforced body filler there first, since that is about a 1/4 inch deep. And then I'll put a thin layer of regular body filler over the top of that. But let's see. When you cut the quarter panel off, there's a little brace right here. I don't know if I can show you. Right there. You don't want to cut that off. That stays connected to the car, the part that's green now, because you got to take the quarter panel, lift it up. It's got a slide in behind there, and then this back piece is all going to go down here. And I kind of had this going in here at the same time. I had this going in. Had to hold that there with my left hand, and down here with my right hand, I had to grab this and kind of squeeze it and roll it like that to get it to pop down in there. As for the door jambs, I did not want to disrupt everything that was there, because my doors were shut good before. There's a big brace that's part of this piece. Goes all in behind here. I didn't want to cut it all apart, so I just left it. And it was cut right about here before from the guy that owned the car before me, but they put everything on crooked, and that's why I had to get another quarter panel. So I just cut my quarter panel right there, laid it over the top, and I've got a bunch of welds there. And what I'm going to do is I'll sand all this E-coat off, because the other quarter panel, when I sanded on it, there was some surface rust under the E-coat. So to make sure there's none of that under here, because I've seen a couple of places, I can't remember where it was at, on this quarter panel, that looks like there's something under it that's bubbling up. So it could have been a rusty handprint from the factory and then they primered over it. But I'm going to sand all that off, put a coat of epoxy on it, and then where all my welds are, I'm going to mix up JB Weld, stick all over that to fill all that up, because epoxy sticks to bare metal good. JB Weld is an epoxy, product. It'll stick to that. It's really hard. I mean, you can fix cracked engine blocks and everything else. You won't have any problem with it shrinking and all that stuff here. And my father-in-law did it on a 55 Chevy, filled up a big old hole in a hood. And he had that car 8 years. It stayed out in the sun every day and never had a problem with it. And trust me, I walked by that thing every day, just eyeballing it, see if it was going to shrink or swell or crack. And it never did. When I first seen him do it, I was like, that is never going to work. But he filled up a huge hole with JB Weld, and it worked. So, that's what I've got done there. Inside there, I've just had a few of welding a few spots around it. I did a few plug welds all the way around it. My car, I'm not worried about that seam there, so I've welded all the way across there, and I'm just going to do the body filler over it and make it all smooth. And down here, I don't know if you can see it, I just took my vice grips after I drilled the holes everywhere, and I clamped it down. And I've got some of my welds ground down here. I've got more to grind off, but that's where that's welded there. And this is where the bumper goes on the end of it. I had holes. Just use my shaky hands here. Had holes drilled here, there. And I plug welded those and I ground them off. And I welded them on the ends there. And, like I've said before, I'm not a welder. My welds are ugly, but knock on wood, I've had no problems with anything coming apart. I welded motorcycle frames, car frames. And I did it with my 16-year-old boy, and he drove the truck, and he hot rodded the crap out of it. I did a C-notch on the frame, and no problem. So if it'll hold that, then it's going to hold these quarter panels on, body panels. But that's what I've done. I said I would post a video and update, let people know. Hope it helps anybody out. Have a good day. Merry Christmas to everyone.